Hey guys, it's Memorizer92, and today I'm gonna cover the efficiency of Keen Blunt Weapon. This video will help your character whether it's efficient to run Keen Blunt Weapon or not. By the way, if you're interested in Glaivier, Destroyer, and Arcana, please hit the sub, follow my Twitch, and join the Discord. Then let's get started. So this is Keen Blunt Weapon engraving. At level 3, it gives you 50% of crit damage, but your attacks have a chance to deal minus 20% damage, and this chance turns out to be 10% according to the Korean players. So you have 10% chance to get minus 20% penalty. There's a table that shows efficiency of using Keen Blunt Weapon, including this chance of penalty. This table right here is the efficiency of Keen Blunt Weapon level 3, which is made by a Korean player called Shihum, which means test in English. I got the permission to use this table and he did really good job on making this, so shout out to him. Well, let me tell you how you see this table. The horizontal part right here is your crit rate, and the vertical part right here is your crit damage. And the figures in the table shows how much damage it increases. So for instance, if your crit rate is 60% and if your crit damage is 200%, which is the base, then your damage increase will be here, 16.38%. Red figures right here means it minus your damage, which means it's literally a debuff. And other white background right here means the efficiency is worse than other engravings that increases either damage or attack by 16%. Most of the time, people compare it with Cursed Doll since it's commonly used, and Cursed Doll raises your attack by 16%. Blue background right here means the efficiency is slightly similar to Cursed Doll. And lastly, green one right here means the efficiency is higher than Cursed Doll, which is the point where you want to use Keen Blunt Weapon. And if you see this part right here, you can tell that there's even some points where it's stronger than Grudge, since these part right here are, over 20% damage. There's one very important thing you should not be confused here. It's very important, guys. This table already contains 50% crit damage from Keen Blunt Weapon at 200%, guys. So what I mean is you should not calculate like, oh, I have Keen Blunt Weapon level 3, which raises 50% of crit damage. So I should look this part from here, 250. No, it's not like that, guys. Since Keen Blunt Weapon is already calculated in this table, if Keen Blunt Weapon is the only factor that raises your crit damage, then 200% is where you should start at. If you're wearing something like Argos gear that increases your crit damage, or if you're running tripod that raises your crit damage, then that's when you start to add the things here. So let me give you some examples. If you see here, I'm running a Glaivier, and if you see the stats here, this is a kind of stat that you might get when you have the worst quality of legendary accessories. And if you see the engravings, I included level 3 Keen Blunt Weapon and level 3 Pinnacle. And let's see the crit damage here. It says 250, right? So 50% came from the Keen Blunt Weapon level 3. If I try to change my stance from the blue to red, let's see what happens. It increases up to 335%. So do you guys remember that to see this table, you have to exclude the Keen Blunt Weapon to 50%, right? So that means in this case, it should be like 335 minus 50, which is 285. Makes sense, right? So the part you have to see is here, guys, 285. And if you are like ulting or maining a Glaivier, then you guys already know that for Swiftness build on the red stance, it guarantees crit, right? 100%. So the part you have to see is this part right here, 100%. So it should be 285 all the way here. It is 15.19. That's the damage increase that you get on the red stance, which says it's blue. This time, if you see the blue stance, my crit rate becomes 42.78% and my crit damage is 250, which is from the Keen Blown weapon, right? So when I calculate, I have to see the 200 part. And also, if you see the crit rate, you have to add 42.78 plus 18, guys, because you guys have this Shackling Blue Dragon, which raises your crit rate by 18% on the blue stance. So technically, it should be 60.78. And if you see the table right here, so it's somewhere here, right? 60%. And the crit damage you have to see is this part, right? Excluding the Keen Blown weapon, because that was the only factor on the blue stance. So right here, it says 16.38 damage increase, which is green, which is the spot that you want to run the Keen Blown weapon, right? And by the way, guys, technically your crit rate as a Glaivier in the blue stance should be 70. And do you guys know why? Because I've already got this on the video that on the blue stance, if possible, it's better to do the back attack, since most of the skills on the blue stance are back attack, and it's even easier to back attack than the red stance. So technically it should be here by getting 10% additional crit rate by back attacking. So at max it should be 70%, or if it's like minimum, it should be somewhere 60, right? So it's somewhere here, which is still green. So in average, like between the red stance right here, 15.19, and between somewhere here, the blue stance, if you draw this line like this, then it means roughly the efficiency shows somewhere in this line. You guys all get this, right? And most likely, most of the time, it will be stay in the green spot, which means Keen Blown weapon, for instance, for Glaivier is one of the major engraving that she has to go for. Well, guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay GigaChad. Bye bye.